Hello everybody, my name is Dimitri with Serg Supply and Rigwell, and today we are doing a full build walkthrough on this Sprinter 144 high roof. Let's dig right in. So for most of these videos, I usually start with the floor and then I work into the wall, ceiling. This one's gonna be a little different. Unlike other builds we've done, we did exterior products on this build as well. So let's start it off nice and hot with some exterior stuff and show you what this customer chose and why. The first and most necessary part of the build for my old knees are these van speed steps. They come as individuals. We ended up putting one on each side. It's what the customer wanted. It's what we did on our van, and they are spectacular. For the price you pay, you get a really nice way to access the back of your van. It's also still compatible with a hitch if you wanted to use that bad boy. Customer picked this one up. We installed it. It's from CA Tuned. Not a whole lot to say about this thing, honestly. It's a tire carrier. It does the job. The one thing that I didn't really like about it, well, two things. Number one, the actual tolerance on the male and female joint is a little too loose for my liking. And then number two, going to be these studs here. That factory tire iron that's sitting under your seat base will not actually fit these guys. So pack an extended socket if you're going to use this tire carrier so you're not stuck on the road and you have no way of taking this thing off. Next item on the menu, owl side steps. I do enjoy these. They're very lightweight. They were not hard to install. I especially liked as a builder that they have these breakaway screws on the bottom, and the ladder ended up fitting real nice. It tucked away a little close. See if I can show you that clearance to the actual capsules themselves. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with how their assembly. There's two companies out there for exterior products that really have my heart, and that's going to be Van Speed, Van Mart, and Owl. They just make really great stuff. Speaking of Van Speed, check it out. We've got the Van Speed capsules here. These were wrapped in a matte black. It gives us the sleeping space we needed, and we have them on both sides of the van. This one's a little deeper. It's the driver's side. Passenger side's a little shallower, and we can show you how we trimmed out the inside. Let me take you with me on this journey to see this Flatline Vanco rack. Now, this is not a brand new Flatline Vanco rack. This thing is secondhand. Shout out to Zeke. It actually lived on our van, and we had an agreement with this particular customer. We would install it and give it to him if he'd take it, and he was happy to take it. So we refurbished it a little bit. And overall, it's a pretty awesome little rack. There's one comment I wanted to make about this, and that is that we had to replace that weather stripping up there. Things were a little wobbly, a little rattly. Other than that, overall solid assembly, nice little rack. A few of the other items that we added to this vehicle that are a little harder to see is, number one, this diff plate for the rear diff. For rear-wheel drive, if you're going off-road, I actually would recommend this. Maybe not a lift kit, maybe not a suspension, but that guy sits quite a bit lower, so I would absolutely recommend that. And then check this out over here. I'm going to pan to the right. We'll go into more detail on that later, but that right there is actually an 11-gallon Northwest Conversions gray water tank under a passenger side kitchen, and it's got a little 12-volt actuated dump valve there. More on that later. All right, now to the interior, finally, right? This is our Serg Supply insulated floor kit. It's stuffed with Thinsulate underneath the top coat, and we actually did a layer of closed cell foam between the lawn seal and the wood itself. If you're curious on the lawn seal pattern, this is called Lawn Seal Flex, F-L-E-C-K-S. It's like a black lawn seal pattern with some texture in it, so it doesn't look so damn dirty when you're stepping on it. And of course, this is trimmed out with our Serg Supply Threshold trim kit. In the front, we have our Threshold trim kit, but we also have, believe it or not, a Flatline Vanco step extension. This is an alternative to the Rigwell Stow Step. It's a great alternative. I love Flatline, love their products. It's a little simpler, but it does the job. And more importantly, we can cut any of our floors to fit it, and the customer wanted it, so why not? That's what we ended up doing. Next is walls and ceilings. This one was a little fun. So this is actually the Serg Supply Track Wall Panel Kit. This is a kit that you can purchase for us to install, but it's incredibly difficult to install as a DIYer. That's the reason we don't currently list it for DIYers unless somebody emails in, they really want to take on a challenge, we'll help them. But it ends up looking really beautiful when it's done. You don't have to pay $15,000 for a frame. This isn't meant to hold, you know, load-bearing things, beds. This is just to mount upper cabinets and things on, and it turned out great. Aside from that, there's our solid ceiling panel kit. We currently offer this through builders only, but because we're installing it, we were happy to do it. It's just a 1/4 inch upholstered ceiling. If you can't tell in the video, the sides are actually Marathon gray. Goodness, it's called Gray Heather. That's what it is. And then the top is Gray Mix. So, sorry, Heather Gray, Gray Mix. Nice little bit of contrast. Turned out real good. Every single 144 we put out there has Van Speed capsules. They are kind of a non-negotiable if you choose to sleep sideways and if you choose to sleep comfortably. Of course, there's flare space as an option, but we don't use flare space for reasons I won't get into, but we really love our Van Speed capsules. That's just what worked out for us. You'll notice the space on these is a little tight. It's because it's a different bed here. More on the bed later, but I wanted to give you guys, more importantly, a few more close-ups of how we did these walls. Reading lights on the driver's side, his and hers, they have chargers in them. And then on the passenger side, can't really see it, but we tucked the wire up there. We kind of expanded to add overhead cabinets here later, but we didn't do it. As far as heating and cooling, we have a Nomadic X3 up here. This is a 48-volt unit powering all of our cold air in the back. On the front, we have a Max Air fan. No, we did not buy a black shroud for this. We ended up painting this shroud, in case you're curious. And as with most of our builds, there's a Go Code threshold trim kit on the front and the rear. Apologize for the lighting. I know it's a little hard to see in the light. As well as a Go Code mid trim ring over here for this window. Now, this customer made her own beautiful window covers for all these windows. I'm very impressed with them. It's too bad she doesn't want to go into business. I'm just kidding. But yeah, this Go Code mid trim ring turned out great. And of course, our capsule trim ring in the back trimmed all this out. We didn't really need to worry about it. And that just about wraps up walls and ceiling. Let's talk about this bed system, man. This is the Nomad bed system from Rigwell. We polished it up with black hex here. Our water lives on this side. Our power lives on this side. I'm gonna crack open each of these enclosures and show you guys what's going on. I know it's a little dark in here. Power-wise, it's pretty simple. This is our standard Serg Supply power system now. It's running at 25.6 volts, and we've got 2 of these batteries. So these are each 200 amp hours at 24 volts or 800 amp hour total at 12 volts, which is a pretty decent amount of power. The actual power system itself is all hooked up in here. There's way too many damn videos out there on Victron power systems. I don't need to bore you on the specifics, but our basics are we have a 5,000 volt amp inverter that's actually back there on this side. There was some mild modification needed to the to this box to get it. All we did was really just cut out a rectangle for that thing to drop and mount. And this system, again, fits 5,000 volt amp inverter, 800 amp hours of power at 12 volts. We've got 50 amps of shore power using the Orion, and we're also solar compatible. He did not want to gland on his roof for solar. They have a portable solar setup, so all we have here is this little gland built into the box, so he can just plug those wires in, run them out the back doors, and set it out in the sun. And up here is just a little rocker switch for scene lights. Let me go flip these guys on and show you what they look like. So here we go. Oh, gotta push harder than that. Okay, here we go. Bam. Little nice scene lighting to brighten up your afternoon if you're offloading. And of course, he can add as many scene lights as he wants. We rated the wires for up to 8 up there. We only have 2 for now. And then all of this can go right back. And it's time to talk a little bit about the kitchen. I forgot to mention, this is a Murphy bed. This guy does fold up if needed. It is hinged in the center. And depending on the time of watching this video, this is not to be confused with the Rigwell fixed bed. It's an entirely different system, but it uses similar boxes. This one is just the standard Nomad that flips up. It folds up into that wall right there, and you can see that buckle that straps everything in. And then the mattress is just our lovely standard mattress, but we went a little thicker. We went with 5-inch instead of 4-inch. This is from Rome Rest. They make all of Serg Supply's mattresses. So yeah, I think I've gone a little too far on the bed system. Let's give some of the other items some attention. This cabinet is not terribly new. This is the passenger side flip down galley. It has this unique little flip down table that's built into the unit itself, and everything is hidden away on a magnet. Door closes on it. It's all good to go. Isotherm drawer 85 here for the refrigeration. Plenty of storage space in there. If you're going to do this kitchen, I would recommend the 85 instead of the 65 because This drawer box on top gets freakishly large. Drawer box, they have some belongings here I don't want to show, but everything's nice, soft close inset with compression latches. And then down below, they have a few more items, but mainly I wanted to show you this setup. So this is not our sink. This sink is from Tech Vans. It fits all of our standard units as well. We have a switch here, a rocker switch for a water pump, for our refrigerator, and the third one here is actually our dump valve. I don't know if you can hear that click. But we have a gray water tank, and we wired a DC powered solenoid to it. So if the tank gets full, they can read all of their tank levels right here on our screen. Fresh water is at 52%. Gray water is at 0 because we just recently dumped it. And that's all connected. Again, shout out to Van Life Outfitters for that kit to connect everything to the Serbo GX. And that is how that runs. Now, if you're curious why they chose the Tech Van shower, unlike ours, they have a pull-out shower nozzle. So this guy is wired to hot water from the same hot water heater, so they can wash the dishes and such, and they can also rinse off out there. It's really cool. A little combination of things. As far as outlets go, we use GFCIs for everything. So we have a GFCI here. We have one at the bottom of the kitchen there. There's one at the front of our bench here. And then there's another one in the garage somewhere else that you're not going to be able to see in this video, but it's down there, I promise. Why GFCIs? Well, you know, if you're putting an outlet in your kitchen counter at home, it's got to be GFCI by code, and it's better to be safe than sorry than all these things with all these things. So even if we don't have a GFCI, we'll still daisy chain it to a GFCI. An example is I have an outlet on the bottom here that is just a standard plug, but it's daisy chained to this GFCI right here. And of course, everything is held together with the best of wires and backed up with a breaker inside of our power enclosure. All right, microwave time. This is a 900-watt microwave from Black & Decker. It's actually really quite nice. I like this thing a lot, especially because no button here. Kids can't get to it. You push up on this little release. That's how you use it. It's intended for RVs. It's kind of its thing. And they put these rubber bump stops on this thing. Let me tell you why, folks. I'll give you a fun little story. I was sanding the edge of this beautiful birch butcher block, just like this, dove too far forward, and this guy here took a chunk out of my head and I started gushing blood everywhere. So whether it's our cabinets or somebody else's, try to avoid putting square cabinets in areas that you might hit it. Now, I doubt the customer's ever going to be leaning over sanding the counter like I was, but still, it's a hazard, something to consider. They did stick on this rubber foam here that it works beautifully. And it looks pretty good if you join it all continuously. Something to think about and consider. A rounded cabinet wouldn't have worked here because we have the microwave and I need proper ventilation up top and I couldn't lose that space. But yeah, overall, really happy with the microwave cabinet. And I think on our next build, we're going to have to do it because once you have it to use, you really don't want to go back. Let's go over a few of the goodies that weren't mentioned. First on the list is going to be this headliner shelf. Typically we do a Van Speed headliner shelf, but this customer preferred this one from White Top mainly because it's got this curtain track that covers all of the front windows without having to do window covers. And of course he got their zip up cover up here in the front too. I'm happy with it. Quality's good, although I have limited use with it myself personally on the road. I think it's a nice addition here and a good way to add a little bit of extra space. Big shout out to Rad Vans for these super cool handles. I added these in. They didn't fit factory holes, just mind you, if you want to do this yourself, I quite literally just drilled through here, added some nice juicy plus nuts, and we got 2 handles installed. There's one right here, and let's bring you around. There's one right here. These are solid. Really impressed with actually the milling quality of this handle. So again, shout out to Rad Vans if you guys are looking for pull-in handles to get in and out of vans. This is the only one I've used so far. I know there's a couple out there between Agency 6 and a couple other companies, but really thrilled with this one overall. There's no denying this build is beautiful. It's functional, and for the 2 folks that were gracious enough to trust us to be stewards of their money and their vehicle, it works really well. Not such a good fit if you have small kids or you want to bring friends on the road with you, unless they're willing to sleep under the garage or you're willing to cram 4 people like sardines on the bed, which I wouldn't recommend. It's good for 2. Now, let's get down to brass tacks here. You guys want to know how much this damn thing costs, and I've broken it down a little bit for you. So all of the product costs included to get everything needed in this van, including power system, appliances, cabinetry, kits, interior, exterior, that product cost came out to $29,000 for this particular build out. A couple things that elevated the product cost above our standard build out. Number one, the power system is nice. It's really big. 800 amp hours is a lot of power. And those batteries don't come cheap. Plus, this is all Victron NG, new generation, all the top end stuff. The second item that really pushed the price up is upholstery. Upholstery is very labor intensive, takes a long time. We charge California labor here, no surprise there. And while I think it's worth what you're paying, it does take a lot of time to upholster these properly and in a way that it's not going to peel in the sun later. Those two things kind of jacked up the price a little bit above standard, but at $29,000 for products, you're still looking pretty damn good for this level of quality. And the best part, it's 100% something a DIYer could put together. This isn't outside of the scope or skill set of anybody who knows how to use basic power tools and has some time on their hands. Now, product costs out the way, let's talk installation costs. We charged $7,300 in labor. Now, I'm gonna divide that by $200 an hour, which is that's the standard going rate. Divided by 200, sorry, I'm not good at math. 36.5 hours of installation time, or working installation time. So could you do it in 3 days? Yes. Should you? Please don't. Oh, for the love of God, don't. Too many complicated things going on here. Realistically, for a DIYer, this is something you could put in really easily in under 6 months, moderately easily in 3 months, and anything under 3 months will be kind of a challenge, mostly because of logistics. There's a ton of parts that need to be shipped and you're waiting on them. But overall, those two things considered, plus all the products that he purchased himself and brought, like the Owl products, the tire carrier, we weren't involved in any of that, you're looking at somewhere around $45,000 for a build like this. So add $45,000 to the price of your van, probably sitting somewhere at 60, 65, you're sitting pretty happy between $100,000 to $110,000 to dish out to get your build to a place like this, assuming you pay somebody else or us to install it. Again, if you DIY, you're looking at a little bit less, but hopefully that gives you guys some good insight onto the financial side, financial burden of getting out there in this thing.